Susan Harrington, 45 Spruce Lane. I wanted to bring up the topic of the body-worn cameras. It came up organically this evening, but and I wanted to bring your attention to a very timely recent article. This is on the New York Times Sunday magazine about issues with body-worn cameras. And while this article dealt largely with fatal shootings by police officers across the country, I think there's lessons we can learn from this. And I just want to bring it to your attention because what we're going to do with this footage once we have it is something we have to think about now. And in community after community, when there are fatal shootings, the footage, for the most part, does not see the light of day. And the reason why is because the police department controls it. And when it is finally litigated and released, it most often does not match up with the narrative that the police department was providing about what happened. That could be because they released an edited version of the footage or didn't release any footage at all. And your job as the select board is to provide civilian oversight of the police department. And I have heard at these meetings repeatedly that you don't tell the police how to do their job. So that leaves me feeling very uneasy about this. And let me just say, I'm very much in favor of body-worn cameras. I just think we have to be thoughtful about how we use them. This is a quote from a former deputy commissioner to the New York City Police Department. And he says, mayors, city council members, all locally elected officials should be losing sleep over the lack of meaningful, independent oversight of police. This isn't Canton. This is every single police department across this country. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Can I recoup her 57 seconds?
And tell them this is what you're looking for. This is what we want.
Because he came back pretty firm, pretty authoritarian, saying that he is.
There's opposition to both sides, which would actually, which is actually be good for this committee because you want opposite views. So why don't you reach out to Mr. McCarthy?
I will.
And then at this point, I think we should just put something together and then. Okay. And then we'll start working from there.
I do appreciate that. And I will reach out to him. He hasn't been very receptive, but I will reach out to him and I'll give it another shot.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you very much. And I appreciate it.
Thank you.
I just want to say, so the process is that, I'm sorry, my name is Susan Harrington.
Yeah.
The process here is that we're going to mail out to the 303 people who signed the petition to select the 2 people on this committee of 5 that were in favor of, who's to say if they actually voted for the audit at town meeting, but they voted to put it up for a vote for audit.
Right.
What is the process for selecting the other 2 members at large? Are we going to mail out cards to every person who didn't sign the audit and select from them? I mean, it's so lopsided and weird. It makes no sense.
Excuse me, I'm sorry for interrupting. What is the composition of this board, of this committee?
You have the 2 and 2. The chair, the one that Mr. Scollins delegated, then that chair appoints 2 citizens at large, we'll call them, and then 2 from the petitioners.
Okay, so there it is. There it is right there. So,
but that does not make any
but
sense.
that's the way the article is written. Am I correct?
No, this whole vote, we're going to poll the petitioners. That is not in the language of the article. This is the whole reason we're upset. This is something that Bob McCarthy has fabricated as the process, and it's crazy.
You don't have the authority to change. Mr. McCarthy has to make the decision. So I think that you were right to ask Rita to reach out to Bob directly and have that conversation.
So he's now the king of this process, and no matter how many people disagree with it, it's just whatever he says goes. That's your position. I just want to understand.
The way the article was written and the way that it was voted at town meeting, this board doesn't have the authority to undo town meeting.
It's hard to see. I can read it.
So.
In Canton resident. First, I want to say that I flat out condemn social media bullying, particularly of young adults. I understand that it's been rampant and it is not okay whatsoever. I have a few comments related to the state of Canton and the renewal of Chief Rafferty's contract. I also want to urge the thousands of Canton residents watching this trial and select board meetings from home to please attend these meetings and write to the select board. This is particularly for the 903 who voted for the independent audit in November. The email address is bos@town.canton.ma.us. The select board will soon decide whether to extend or renew our police chief's contract, or instead begin a search for a new chief. To many of us, this decision will represent either complacency with the status quo or a fresh start. Chief Rafferty has dedicated 30+ years to Canton, and we are thankful for this service in her role as acting chief and now chief. In recent years, she's presided over what we now know to be a botched response to at least one homicide. She's also dispatched officers in ways that pose potential civil rights violations. As any organization, the leader is the role model. In this room last August, she doubled down on her stance about the O'Keefe case when she emphatically stated that there was no cover-up. This was well before the trial began, and town officials have been restricted from commenting about details, let alone their take about the ultimate outcome. Most important, what concerns so many of us is that regardless of who the defendant is or could have been, the police response was so poor that those missteps alone could warrant enough doubt to cripple any prosecution. I fear that there may never be justice for Officer John O'Keefe. Part of what makes a great community is strong relationships, but people are elected as leaders and charged with making tough decisions that require that those friendships at times be set aside for the good of the town. This is one of those times. We won't have the police audit findings and recommendations until next year, but we can assume in the meantime that without new outside leadership, we will continue to have more of the same, he's a great guy, responses to concerns. And this is the status quo that risks equal protection, safety, and costly lawsuits. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Harrington.
Well said. That was Susan Harrington speaking before the select board last year. We just put 3 clips together. First, speaking at the select board. One second, I'm having a little feedback here. Okay, perfect. I forgot to bring down that video. So that was Susan Harrington speaking before the select board a couple different times, 3 times. We put it together. She's now running for Canton Select Board. I definitely do support her. We have Rita Lombardi here tonight. I'm looking forward to this. Rita's back on the show as a guest. She's been a caller recently a couple times. She kind of disappeared from a lot of stuff, but she's been doing the work behind the scenes, never stopped. And now she's all out for this Canton Select Board. She wants to put John Connolly, put him into retirement as a select board member and replace him with this veterinarian named Susan Harrington, who we have on the screen. This is her with a sign at the select board meetings, which are returning live. Dennis Sweeney was in the chat, a Canton resident. He noted that the next select board meeting is actually in person. So that's going to be wild to see that they're now having in-person Canton Select Board meetings. But here is Susan Harrington with her sign. We will be heard back 2024 when we were covering some of this. She was part of the group that was there. Rita Lombardi ran for Canton Select Board last election. She took 3rd place. She defeated an incumbent, a long-term incumbent, and it was a record turnout in terms of the amount of people who came out to vote. We're hoping it will be the same this time because we really need it to get Susan Harrington elected. Right now, she has 225 followers on her Facebook page. I posted the link at the top of the chat. Let's see how many we can get tonight. That's the goal tonight. A lot of people like to donate money, donate their time, support. Tonight, the goal is to get the word out for Susan Harrington. There's no donations. You can donate to her campaign, obviously, but the best thing you can do is just free. Follow on Facebook. Let's get that Facebook number up tonight. I want to see a lot more people following it. And like, when you go on there, like some of the videos and the posts that she's posted up there, maybe reshare them. There's a great, what do we call that? A reel, a Facebook reel that she has up on there about Canton Police Chief Rafferty and about the contract and how she's got more information about it on the website. And you can tell that she's not going to be a yes vote for Rafferty to get an extended contract. So let's get those videos. Let's get more likes on them. Let's get more shares on them. Let's get more follows on her Facebook page. It's pinned at the top of the chat. If you could do that right now for us, I'd like to announce how many we have throughout the show if we can. If you guys can keep track, actually. On my computer, I still don't have Facebook logged in, so I can't even keep track of it. So you guys are going to have to tell me tonight in the chat. But let's bring up the guest. She's been waiting for a while. We posted replayed the video, and now we have our guest tonight returning to the show. She's been very popular. She's getting a little, some heat from a small minority in our chat as well. Let's try to be nice to her tonight. She's put out a lot. She's done a lot. If you haven't done as much as she has for the causes, you probably should give her some deference. But just you really don't know until you've been in the shoes. And I think a lot of us YouTubers and creators, we get it because we feel it. It's wild to see like some of the best people even get it. We were talking about JFK on Auntie Deb's show the other day. But Rita Lombardi, I just so happy that she's back on the show tonight and that she's going to talk about this. Our friend, we gave her an award earlier this year too, for the best guest of 2024 in the Young Jurks from Canton. She was the best Canton Young Jurks guest so far. And I just see her in the green room. She just walked away. I have a feeling she's going to get the award or something. Yeah, here we go. Let's bring up Rita Lombardi. Welcome back to the Young Jurks, Rita Lombardi.
Mike, it is so great to be back. I'm really happy to be here. I'm really happy just to be talking about my town because we need help. And I want to show everybody the awesome award you sent me, and all your viewers voted the best Canton guest in 2024. So this sits proudly on my mantle, and I cherish it because every time I'm on your show, Mike, it's a great show. And I love that you try to help get the word out there and help us all be better at what we do. So thank you. And it's great to be back. And thank you for all the love that's in the chat. I really appreciate it. It's difficult for us Canton people. And, sometimes we have to step back and take care of ourselves. And, you can't help others if you're not taking care of yourself. And that's what I've been doing. So here I am. And, my focus till April 8th is getting Susan Harrington elected because, the problems we have on the select board, the root causes because they're not doing police oversight. And we need somebody in there who's going to do police oversight. And that is what's going to help turn this town around. So I'm happy to be back.
So can we put that award up again? Because I want to rub it into John Como. He took second place, and I think he's been a little upset. He wanted one. This is John. This is the award you almost got, John, but Rita snagged it from you.
John, I'll take a picture and send it to you. I love you too.
He did good. He got some votes. There were a lot of people from Canton who got votes, and yeah, it was amazing to see how much people really did love you on the show. 2024. Yeah, you were like a strong. Well, you got a lot. Like even in the chat tonight, people are going nuts that you're here. There's a lot of love for you.
I appreciate it so much. I really do. People that have seen me, that know who I am, what you see is what you get. And, my heart hasn't changed. I just had to take care of myself. And that's what I've been doing. But so now I'm back. And it was exciting. If I can share, today was the first day I did a standout in a long time. And I stood out for Susan. for 2.5 hours, and cars went by, and it was so great. You know, cars were beeping, they were giving us thumbs up. There's a lot of support there for Susan. And what we need to do is spread the word to anybody that you know in Canton to vote on April 8th for Susan Conley. We need them to vote, not Susan Conley, Susan
Susan
Harrington.
Harrington.
Susan Harrington.
All right. She's going against John Conley.
She's going
Let's
against John
use it to
Conley.
replace Conley. Yeah.
Yes. And as people have witnessed from those little video clips that you showed, she is a leader. She's courageous. That's Susan Harrington. And that's before she even ran for election. You know, the picture with Susan with the tape on her mouth, that was in September of 2023. And that was in response to they closed down public comments on the select board meetings. And so people rebelled and held up signs or had the tape over their mouth because they were trying to silence us. And we were like, no, you're not going to silence us. That is the leader. Everything that we just saw, she speaks with facts, specifics, and she's not afraid, you know. And some in Canton, you know, the ones who are the John Conley supporters will take issue, you know, that she's a vet. Well, you know what? Vets have to deal with all kinds of people and all kinds of situations. And we all know that a vet needs to be able to listen and respond to their clients, you know, their customers, and also have compassion. And what I love about Susan's campaign is that she has purple as her color, and purple is compassion. That's who Susan is. That's who she is as a leader. And, you know, that is what we need in town governance. Somebody like Susan Harrington, who's not afraid to speak up.
Yeah, I've heard great things about her from a lot of Canton residents and people that have, you know, use her as a vet. Like,
Yeah.
it's a personal thing. Like I know about vets a lot. I've spent a lot of money at vets, and I just love vets, because especially the good ones, because I have this vet that I go to right now. I'm just like, oh, happy we get accepted there. You know what I mean? Because they're so good. It's such an important job, and it's customer service, because, you know, you're dealing with owners a lot of times deciding the fate of their dogs, whether they spend thousands of dollars to try to save them, and usually it's just prolonging things and you know, putting the pet down. So it's very, you know, it's a hard job. I can't imagine, because I walk dogs, and every year one of my dogs will usually pass away, because if you have, you know, 15, 20 of them, one a year, you know what I mean? Because they don't live that long. So to do that every single day, I just can't even imagine. It's got to be.
And she grew her business. She owned the vet. She owned the vet for over, I think it was 27 years. And then she sold it, and she still works there because it's her love, you know. And in addition to that, you know, I just want to let people know what she's done for the town. You know, this is her on a personal level. We've just seen snippets of her in action as a leader, as a fierce leader. And, you know, she's got a doctorate in veterinarian medicine. And, you know, she doubled her business. In 27 years, she doubled her business, has over 20 employees, knows how to manage and grow a business. That's what we need. You know, that's what we need. And she has done things for the school. Like she's been in town 30 years. Her kids are grown out of college and whatnot. And for over 20 years, she has designed and sewed costumes for all the productions in Canton. I mean, and she's still doing it. That's her commitment to the community. She also volunteered to be on the modernization committee to help bring our bylaws, you know, bring them up to code, bring them up to standards of today. She is very dedicated to this community. And as you know, we saw in those videos, she wants to make a difference. And I support her 1,000%, 1,000%.
When we found those videos, Boston Mike and I went through them. We were shocked, because some of the things that she said in those was like predicting the future.
Yes.
Like she was talking about the video stuff that's become it's part of the motion to dismiss, that the video fiasco with the Sally Port and And it's just like she almost predicted it, like, because she's so on point with policy and things that are an issue in other places that are also an issue in Canton with their police department. So that's what I'm just like very in awe of Susan. I think that she's perfect. Like you said, she's very specific. She's very policy and data oriented,
Yep.
which we need. She's a business owner, which if you're a successful business owner, data that like becomes, your customer needs, what your customers want. It becomes such a big issue. And this is what Canton needs. They need someone that's focused on actual real stuff that matters and looking at policies, looking at procedures and looking at where they are, where they should be. And yeah, when you saw those videos, what did you think about them?
Oh my God. We're in the midst of it, right? So, I'm there, all the meetings, and I didn't realize what the clips that you had, they were gold. So many people are speaking and they only give you 3 minutes and you try to focus. And, so many people got up, and I'm thrilled those videos came to light. I'm thrilled because that shows Susan in action, and anyone who looks at those videos and doesn't see the future of Canton in Susan Harrington, we need to talk, because, John Conley is not it, and he hasn't been it. And there's so much he did to let down us citizens, that people need to remember. And, John opposed the police audit. He opposed it. He knew we were in threatening situation. We had 2,000 people show up for the special town meeting in 2023, and John was not in favor of the police audit. He was not in favor of the police audit. I'm willing to venture a guess. The select board takes an oath, and part of their oath is to oversee the police department. But the select board told us in 2023, in the summer of 2023, that they don't do that portion of their job. They let the police department oversee themselves. And that is the problem. You cannot have an area like that self-audit and self-oversight. You can't do that. And of course they didn't want an audit. He didn't want an audit. Chief Rafferty didn't want an audit, because you have an area that nobody is managing except the chief of police. And, they don't want people to see what's going on. So he strongly opposed it. Not only did he oppose it, we were sitting there in threatening conditions, 2,000 people. And we were broken up into the cafeteria, to the gymnasium, into the auditorium. And the auditorium was 800 people. We had over 2,000 people there, and it was threatening conditions. And people had to raise their hand to vote for the audit, knowing that the naysayers were looking for them to see who was not going to support the townies. And it was, and thank God, 903 people raised their hand. But the first time we raised our hand and we voted, John Conley objected to the vote, just like a jack in the box. He jumps out of his seat with his orange ticket. He was the first one up there to object. And then the whole select board objected. And then, there was objection, so they had to redo the vote. They did it 2 more times. 2 more times. People had to raise their hands in threatening conditions, knowing that people are watching whose hands are up. And he didn't care. He didn't care. And so he put us again in harm's way. That's my opinion. He put us in harm's way, and people are afraid to speak their truth. And the reason they have been, Mike, and a lot of the people in Canton don't share the hardships that we have, but we have lost family and friends and our loved ones, people I love. And I'm protecting people because I'm not saying names. People I love have lost family and friends because of our speaking out. And that is why so many people haven't spoken out, because they're trying to protect their families. But for those of us who have spoken out, it has come at a great cost to us, a tremendous cost. And, and John, making us raise our hand that second and third time, he put us in harm's way. That's my opinion, but that put us in harm's way. But people were brave and they raised their hand. And people went to the polls last year. And I really, if I could ask this audience tonight, please, anyone and everyone in Canton, reach out to them and ask them to save the date. April 8th, save the date and go vote for Susan Harrington. It's so important. Let this town know that it's time for change. It's time for accountability. It's time for the select board to do all of their responsibility, not just the ones they want to do.
We've had some super chats come in. We'll definitely take a look at them in a minute. I want to ask about the police audit, because people keep asking about that. What is actually going on with the police audit right now?
In my opinion, it's in a black hole. It's in a black hole. And they have, look, in my opinion, right, they did everything to sabotage that. So, we had to do a special town meeting, a citizen petition, probably the first ever in this town, to even get the police audit. The citizens drove that. Kathleen Howley that was her brainchild. And, we had the special town meeting and we voted in under horrendous conditions. And then that wasn't enough. They were shocked that it got passed. Then they put Bob McCarthy in place, and his job was to do everything he possibly could, including abusing the people on the board, the proponents, Kathleen and Dave, and the people in the audience. He did everything he could to bully and not have that audit go through. And then when it was horrible. Anybody who watched the audit, and you've been fabulous carrying everything, Canton, everyone who watched the audit could see abusive and unprofessional behavior. Yet the select board said nothing. And so then what happened was, I think it was like in late October, they made a decision on 5 stones. Frankly, there wasn't really anybody. There were, I think, 5 bids came in, and 4 of them I don't even think were viable. So you had one, and the decision was made to go with 5 stones. And Dave was voted as the one who was going to be the intermediator with 5 stones. And then all of a sudden, the committee was disbanded, and they're going to say it wasn't disbanded. Oh, yes, it was, because they sent a notice to me saying it was disbanded because I signed up for alerts. And they disbanded the committee and welcomed us to go to other committees. So they were done. They were like, okay, we're done. They have done everything to control the outcome of that audit. So where is the audit? Well, that's a good question. It's in a black hole. So they are supposed to come back to us by April 1 to tell us what the findings were in the audit. And at a financial FinCom meeting, finance committee meeting a couple of weeks ago, Chief Rafferty said that, because the only one talking to the 5 stones, the audit firm, is Chief Rafferty, because she has access to the stuff. And I think it is maybe Charlie Doody and maybe Bob. I don't know. We don't know, because, it's not transparent, even though this audit was supposed to be transparent and rebuild trust. I don't know how putting it in a black hole does that. But Chief Rafferty said that, what she heard was, more training is needed. Let me say this, give me a break. Okay, give me a break. I've been involved in many audits, and they don't come back with more training. They come back with procedural breaks. And if they think that they're going to come back and tell us that 5 stones said, oh, just more training, give me a break. These officers knew what protocol was. They just didn't do it. So, if that's a preview of what we're going to see, the fact of the matter is, they've lost credibility in my mind. And, and now we're hearing, because they weren't going to, last year they signed a 1-year contract for the chief, and then it was going to be discussed again after the audit. Well, the audit results aren't in, because Mike Lofgren, the chairman, said that he was going to give the chief a chance to respond to the findings of the audit. And she knows that if John Conley is elected, that she's going to get another 3-year contract. She said it. And she knows that if Susan Harrington gets elected, Susan's going to vote against it. And now we're hearing, the election is April 8th, and now we're hearing that they're behind the closed doors negotiating her contract. So they're going to try to slide that through. before the election, and they're not fooling anybody. So, you know, they can do whatever they do, but people are going to see what they do. And it's time for change. It's time for leadership. It's time. It's time to bring this town back. This is a beautiful, historic town, and it has been tarnished by people who were not doing what they were supposed to be doing. And, you know, that's no one's fault except the people who didn't do what they were supposed to do, whether it was the people, you know, involved in crimes, or whether it was the people who were supposed to oversee them, you know. And here's another thing. When they do, when they have, they're elected into office, they're supposed to sign an oath of office and ethics and take ethics training. And somebody foiled the ethics training in November of 2023, just before the special town meeting. And only one of the 5 had completed their ethics training, and that was J.R. McCourt. The other 4 had not done it. And the yellow ducky, yes, yeah, and you know, we have 36-page reports on yellow duckies, you know, but nothing on, you know, the Sim Clean 50 that was thrown over 3 people's lawns, or threatening letters. Yes, the rubber ducky. Yes.
This is from Rich. This is from Rich.
Yes.
This was in a police report. They
Yes.
transcribed the show. Rich is in the chat. I just gotta say, like, Rita, someone earlier said, how many people in the chat are actually Canton voters? And all I'm noticing is all the Canton people in here. You got like Peter Murphy, Sergeant Peter Murphy, retired from the Canton Police Department. I see Dennis Sweeney.
Yeah.
I see other people saying they voted they were part of the 903 who voted. It's like we have all the Canton people show up when Rita's here. So that says something right there. What do you think about the response when you did the standout today?
Oh my God.
Susan Harrington.
So cars went by, cars were beeping, you know, and some people for John Conley were there, but I think I only heard one horn in the 2.5 hours I was there for them. And they were positioned in a place where you knew who it was for, because people looking right at us. But I'm going to tell you, you know, people, you know me, right? I don't just hold signs. And Dennis Sweeney was there, and Gary Titus was there. And, you know, we were holding the signs, and you know me, I like to rally them. And, you know, cars are beeping, and, you know, we got people beeping. We had people, we were trying to get them to beep. They gave us a thumbs up, and they were, you know, there was a lot of positive responses. I think people are afraid to beep. I think people are afraid to beep. And can you imagine living in a community where you're afraid to beep for a political sign? For a political sign? I mean, you know, this is about our town. But I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that, because people need to do what they're comfortable doing. You know, not speaking out is not for everybody, you know, and people don't want to suffer the way we have. And we have. And, you know, I mean, part of what's been going on with me is grief. I mean, it's grief. You know, I've lost family. I've lost people. My family has lost people. You know, that's grief, even though these people are still alive. And, you know, it's been enormous. And so I am happy to be putting my efforts right now into fixing the problem in Canton. Because if we don't fix the problem in Canton, there could be another Karen Reed. There could be another John O'Keefe. And we don't want that. And so to fix that problem, we have to fix our governance. And that is saying goodbye to John Conley and saying hello to Susan Harrington.
Absolutely. It's good to hear that people are standing out. It sounded like Dennis Sweeney was there too, because he posted and said it was a good, what did he say? I just posted on the screen. I think he said it was good today.
Oh, it was great. It really was great. Even though it was
very
windy.
Positive. That's what he said. Very positive.
Yes, it was very positive. 100% it was very positive. And I'm going to be standing out every Saturday. Saturdays are my days off right now. And so people know I work full time. You know, last year I was out of work a lot. And in the late October, early November, I was going back to full-time. I was struggling to get back to work full-time. This case has had an enormous impact on me. And, so, people don't see that. They see me. This is what you see when I'm on show, but you don't see me when I'm not on show. And,
Exactly.
there's a lot to what we're doing. There's a lot to it.
I
But
know all about that. I think we all go through it. Like,
we
I think
all did.
everybody has had
Yes.
their moments in this little movement here, especially if you've given a lot. It'll drive you crazy.
Absolutely. Everybody has. And some people don't know when to step back. I feel I did know when to step back. I knew when I had to step back. I said, I got to step back. I was drowning. I was struggling to work full time and keep my job, and I knew and plus I was dealing with, it was the holidays. I'm dealing with everything, these people that are no longer in my life, and it's not just me, it's other people too. So it was enormous. But here I am in a new year. And like Alan Jackson says, we ain't got no quit, and we ain't got no quit. So we just sometimes, you get wounded in the war and then you recover and then you get back out there. That's what I'm doing.
Stronger too. A couple questions came here from Stacy Face Travels. One of them is, what can non-Canton people do to support Susan Harrington?
Yes. So non-people, listen, if you're not from Canton, there are many things you can do. Look at her website, harringtonforcanton.com. That's Harrington, F-O-R, Canton.com. And on there, what you can do mainly is, if you know people in Canton, reach out to them. Tell them that election is coming. Susan also has on her website, there's a link to donate. I know people there's donations. Karen needs donations. I know people need donations. If you have the bandwidth to contribute to Susan's campaign, awesome. If you don't, that's okay. We appreciate your support just being there for us. We need to get Susan over the line. We need to get her. And I speak as a citizen, right? I'm not on Susan's campaign. I speak as a citizen, as a concerned citizen in my town. We need somebody who's going to do that. So if people can talk it up. And, also, people, like I meet many people every day, and I meet people from Canton. And, recently I met somebody who's lived here for about 20 years. He didn't even know we had town elections. He never votes in town elections. He's like 50 years old, never votes in town elections. And, he said, do we have a mayor? I said, no, we have a select board. And so that people understand, because a lot of people, and look, I'm guilty myself. We have to raise our awareness, all of us, on local elections. And because this is going to help all of us. In the town of Canton, our governance is a select board. There's a 5-member select board. They oversee the town's activities. They are supposed to oversee the police force. If they're doing their job, then somebody has checks and balances on the police force. And that's all we need, checks and balances. You got checks and balances. People know they need to do certain things. And, so it's important for people. And I get it. I worked full time my whole life. And, I raised my children. I went to school nights and I did all of that. And, being aware of what was going on in local elections, I did my best. I wasn't always good at it. I did my best and I voted the way I thought. Now I realize more than ever, it's important that we pay attention to local elections, because if not, this is what we get. People who decide they're not going to do their job.
Definitely. And you have someone here, Susan Harrington, which one of the things I love about her website is she has a survey there for voters. So if something matters to you, you can let her know directly through that survey, which is what every candidate should do. Unfortunately, they don't. So that's another standout thing about her. And that shows, like what I said about data with business owners. That's what business owners do. We find out what people, it's even like what this show does. I find out what people are interested in, and we talk about it. We cover it, even with the instant messages and the feedback we get here in the polls that we run. Here's one of the things that is on her website right now that I like. It's about what she wants to do with the police department. And right at the end, there's a lot of data in here, and you can tell again she's talking to the citizens. She's talking about specifics, like really specific, really drilling down. But just the most important thing I want to read to the audience here is the last statement. It says, perhaps most important, we need to be interviewing new police chief candidates now, as it will take time to find the strong, independent, fresh leader the department needs to rebuild Canton's trust in our public safety and law enforcement department and leadership. So she's basically saying we need to hire someone. We need to start doing it now. We need to start interviewing versus John Conley, who wants to just keep the same police chief and renew the contract.
Right. Susan's not afraid to speak the truth and to say what you need. And that's what an effective leader does. That's a leader. That's a leader's behavior. And here's another thing too. I mentioned it the other night at the select board in my statement. This town is supposed to do performance reviews, and they don't do performance reviews. So here we have a select board, right, who doesn't oversee the police department because they decide that they're not going to do that. Can you imagine working someplace and say, yeah, I'm not going to do that part of my job just because I don't feel like it. Well, you're not going to stay employed very long. But, they didn't oversee the police department. And then there's no performance reviews. There's no data with performance reviews. And that is how you hold people accountable. So there's no accountability for anybody. And that's a problem. And Susan grew her business. I guarantee you she did effective performance reviews. And I guarantee you that she will ensure that on the select board, that they will make sure that the town does the performance reviews. People need that feedback. And feedback, sometimes people think feedback is negative. Feedback is a gift. If somebody tells you where you can improve and where you're doing great, that's a gift to be the best that you can be. And so it's a disservice to the community not to do that. And that's part of our problem. No performance reviews, no accountability. That is why we're in this mess, in my opinion.
Someone said I should be giving away stickers tonight. I got some new stickers, but I don't know, because would this be like a campaign donation type thing that would have to be disclosed? I don't know.
I'd encourage you to give stickers away to who do the survey. I look, just do the survey. I'm receiving
just
messages.
do the survey so I don't have to do campaign finance stuff. I don't like to do that. So just do the survey and please sign up for her Facebook page. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Please do that. We're going to do stickers probably in the next show, actually. We're going to do something for free Karen Reid, but just do it. So yeah, just do it. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So that's a good suggestion.
It's a great suggestion. I just, we've got to get the word out. I believe people are going to get the word out. People know what we need, and we all need it. We all need it. This is what you don't want to happen in your community. It's painful.
Yeah. We're reading the chat too. We've had some questions, some other questions come in, some comments too. Here's one. This is from Stacy Face. Again, she says, what does Sue think about the wounds on John O'Keefe's arm? He's a vet. I don't know.
Oh, that's a good question.
Anything about that?
I didn't even think of that. Oh, that's a great question. Stacy Face Travels. That's a great question. Let me tell you, I think she's on board with, what's the doctor's name? The lovely lady?
Marie Russell. Dr. Marie Russell.
Yes. I look, Susan's a vet. And I think her statements speak volumes on how she feels about things. I mean, I'm certainly not here to speak for her, but I didn't even make the connection she was a vet. So I think that's right. I think a first grader can look at those pictures and tell you that was a dog. Those are dog bones. So I don't think you have to be a vet to know that those are dog bones.
Certainly look like it to me. They look like my arm after a dog scratches too, like the scratch marks especially. I've seen that. Even with friendly dogs that will jump up and just kind of.
And Melanie had a guest on.
Garrett Wing.
Yeah, I think he was
Yeah.
from Florida, and he was a dog trainer, German Shepherd, dog trainer, and he was unbelievable. She should do that again. She should replay him or invite him back on. But he had he showed the marks were identical. I mean, we all know what the dogs do. They grab and, that's what they do. The dog was doing what the dog was trained to do.
I showed my dog trainer that we work with the pictures. I said, "What does this look like to you?" And he said, "Either a coyote or a dog bite. What is it?" So he said back. He didn't know. Like he thought it might be coyote, but or dog. So
You could say coyote, but then John, though, for those wounds, right, you would have to have been alive and fighting with him, because those are defensive wounds. And I'm not a doctor, I'm not anything, but I've seen enough, and especially with the doctor that Melanie had on, he's pulling away from the dog, and he knows these dogs. He's pulling away from the dog, and John was in no condition to pull away from a coyote.
but he's not fighting a coyote outside. There's no
He's
question
not
about
fighting
that.
a coyote.
I've been around tons of coyotes with dogs. Actually, I've come across so many coyotes walking dogs.
Yeah, we
And
have coyotes in this neighborhood. We
Yeah,
have
they don't. They're afraid of us. They
Yeah.
don't come at us. Like,
No,
we're not fighting them off. Dogs come at us. It's so funny. That's what I'm afraid of. The dogs, a loose dog,
yeah.
wild
And
dog.
that's another thing, right? Susan deals with all kinds of dogs, angry dogs. I mean, I'm sure she has in her career, right? John Conley can't even deal with angry people, let alone an angry dog.
Yeah.
So anyone who wants to say, vet or whatever, Susan has the leadership competencies. And I, for one, have gone in my whole career. I went into business area after business area and turned around poorly performing business areas, or started them from the ground up, knowing nothing about the business area. You don't need to know about the business area to have the competencies to get the job done.
Absolutely. So I hope Susan does very well on April 8th. I'll put her back up on the screen again. This is Susan Harrington. Check out our website. It's Harrington or Canton.com,
Harrington
right?
for Canton. That's right.
Harrington for Canton. And you spell out FOR. So Harrington for Canton.com. We have it on the screen. She has a survey there. You can follow her on Instagram and Facebook. She's got both. So let's get those follows up too tonight if you can. We got the Facebook page pinned to the chat. I want to see much more follows. I know some of you have already followed her tonight. Another question that's come up quite a few times today is for you, Rita. They want to know, I think I know the answer to this, but I don't know if some people do. So they're asking, are you still free Karen Reed?
Oh my God, 1000%. 1000%. Listen, Karen Reed was framed. That's why this election is so important to me. Okay? Because I don't want that to happen to anyone else again. I don't want it to happen to John O'Keefe, another John O'Keefe. God rest his soul. I don't want it to. Karen Reed, it's horrific that this woman is being put through this. And I say this woman, I know Karen, you know what I mean? I mean, I've known her through this thing, and 1000% I am for Karen Reed. And that is why it is so important to change the makeup of this select board so that something like that never happens again. And I am still, as much as I can, I'm working full time, and I'm trying to help, raise awareness here, and trying to have my life and trying to recover. I mean, there's a lot going on, and, but I pay attention to just the highlights of what's going on. And I'm well aware. Yeah, she has fabulous lawyers. Alessi, oh my God, everybody is fabulous. And if I need to jump back in, I'm going to jump back in. I need to, right now I'm taking care of myself. But I am 1000% in support of Karen Reed. And the more I hear what's going on in court and all these shenanigans, it's disheartening to me. We're supposed to live in a country that doesn't do this. And, this is so wrong. So wrong.
Facebook likes are moving up, I guess. I guess she's up in the 240s now. She started, when I checked, it was at 225. Apparently it's up over 240 now. We need to get it to like 300, 400, 500. Let's keep liking the Facebook page, please. And also like videos and other posts up there. Make sure you like them when you like the page and try to share them too. We need to get the word out about this campaign as much as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. This is the change we need. You know, John Conley has done nothing, people. You know, they put out an ad in the local little shopper, you know, saying what a good boy John is. And, you know, John may be a good boy. I mean, I don't know John. He's not a leader. He's not a leader. And we have been, I think, through the worst times in the history of this town. And he has been in his little Zoom box, you know, and he's okay with that. He's okay with Zooming. They've been Zooming these meetings for 10 months now because they're afraid of us. And they're afraid of what the people are going to say. That's not a leader. That's not a leader. You know, at the special town meeting, you know, somebody, you know, had a gun gesture, you know, I mean, people need to realize, you know, at the special town meeting, when Jen O'Donnell was speaking, some fool in the crowd who was pro, you know, the other side, made a gun gesture to her head. The police chief was there. The whole entire police department was there. And nothing was done. Nothing.
Yeah. You had
And
letters sent to your house. There was bleach thrown on your lawn. There's
yes,
been so much crap that's happened.
right. And they have done nothing, you know, and what I consider nothing, right? When the bleach was on my lawn and there was a vape pen, which a neighbor told us, Brenda and I and Dennis, they lived the next street over. And we found the bag that had the source balloons. And there was also a vape pen. I guarantee you that vape pen came, the way the vape pen was, it belonged to whoever tossed the balloon bag. And, you know, the chief came back and said, you know, they sent it out, whatever. And, you know, it came back with the chemical, which was Sim Clean 50, which is even more toxic than bleach. And it was an industrial cleaner. I mean, these people are dumb. You know, they narrow the scope of who could have this product. And nothing was said for us. You know, they didn't. And in the vape pen, I said, what about the vape pen? Oh, you didn't mention you wanted that tested. Yeah, I'd like that tested. You know, and you know, nobody ever gets back to you. But put out rubber duckies and force Rich Schiffer to go to court and pay for an attorney to represent.
Exactly. And investigate our show, like in terms of transcribing interviews. I mean, that was just so overkill. Pulling video surveillance on Rich Schiffer on a case that got dismissed. They, you know, it was outrageous. Fish-tastic, fish fists. Say that twice. Fish-tastic, Fish Fights has a comment. It says, link to Facebook page. It's pinned at the top of the chat. Susan Harrington's Facebook page is pinned at the top of the chat. Please, everyone, make sure you like and follow Susan Harrington on Facebook, the campaign. Also, check out some of her other posts, like those, share those, the video. There's a video. You need to check it out. The real Susan Harrington has a Facebook and an Instagram. If you can follow her on both. You can also find that information off her website. Again, it's harrington4canton.com. Our mods have posted the links tonight in the chat. I want to thank Rita Lombardi so much for being here. I hope it's not too much reliving all this awful stuff that happened to you in the past. And
yeah, I've been, you know, yeah, I know it is triggering, but look, I'm okay. You know, I'm a fighter. You know, I'm a fighter, and I think you know that. And you know, sometimes I just need a rest, and you know, to take care of me, because I give it everything. I give it my heart and soul. And you know, I was out of work several months last year, and because of this case. And I also want to say too, with the Susan Harrington's Facebook page, there's also a Facebook page, Canton Community Voices. Canton Community Voices. You know, if you have connections to Canton, or if you have join that Facebook group, because there we are trying to make a difference, to raise awareness in Canton, and to make it a safer town for all of us, and bring back the joy. So, Mike, I thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Everybody, vote for Susan Harrington. Save the date, April 8th. Tell everyone. And let me just say one more thing. People who have not signed up, if you're in Canton, voter registration deadline is Saturday, March 29th, and you can also do it online. And then vote by mail application is April 1 by 5 p.m. So there's plenty of ways to vote, but whatever you do, vote, and vote for Susan Harrington, and vote to move the vote. We're looking to move the vote from April to November to raise awareness and get more people out to the polls. So Mike, thank you so much. All the love you people gave me. Thank you so much. It's great to be back. And
we're seeing too, before we let you go, we're seeing people making donations. Here's GA
awesome.
mom said she just made a donation to the Sue
Harrington. Oh,
Canton
yeah.
needs change, praying for its residents. So people are making donations. You can also make a donation if you have the money. I understand not everyone does, but if you can, it's a good campaign. Susan Harrington for Select Board. And again, it's harringtonforcanton.com is the website. You can just, if you want to do a donation there, you can also fill out the survey there. But again, on her website, if you have no money, Facebook and Instagram are linked right there. Please follow.
Just give love too. Just give love. Just give love. We love love.
And shares and reshares and if you have any Canton residents, we saw that tonight too. People in the comments saying, I have a friend in Canton. I'm going to call them and let them know about Susan Harrington. So that's another way. If you know people in Canton, call them, let them know, make them aware. You got to let them know. That's the big thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we're going to be raising awareness in this town as much as we can with the signs. And, I took a vacation day on election day. I'm going to be out there and, hopefully rallying people to vote. People forget, but save the date. Save the date. It's an important date. So thanks, Mike. I appreciate it. I really do.
Standouts. People are doing more standouts too. So if people are Canton residents or even anywhere locally around Canton, you want to do standouts in Massachusetts, you can also carry signs and for Susan Harrington with Rita on election day and other days too, right? You guys have some days coming up.
They even add signs supporting Canton, April 8th, vote. You don't have to be in Canton. When you stand out, maybe have another sign that says support Canton, vote April 8th. Whatever we can do to get the word out. We need people at the polls. We need to change the direction of this town. And we need to rise up from where we've been and bring joy back.
I guess there's a debate Monday night at the library.
Yes, it's at 7:00. I think I have to work, but it's the forum, and so Susan and John will be there. So you might want to televise that if you are able to, although it will be played afterwards. But I got to check my schedule. I think I have to work. Otherwise, I'll be there, and they'll answer questions and. People like Susan will do meet and greets. So on her website, if people want to have a meet and greet, people want to stand out and hold signs, whatever it is you can do, whether it's love and support or whatever, we appreciate it so much because it means everything to us.
I saw Dennis earlier said something about a standout outside the police department coming up. Is that part of?
Yeah, he does them on Fridays. Fridays I work. Okay. And he does a standout. I think they do 12 to 2 on Fridays. And then on Sundays, they do 10 to 12 at Legacy. And then they do 12 to 2. I think they were doing the Pappas. I think they go back to the Canton Police Department. So, for the next several months, Saturday is my day off. And, so I can't do Saturday or Fridays. And there's only so much I can do. There's only so much I can do. I have to balance what I do because it does take a toll on you. But it was fun. It was fun getting out there today. It was fun. And that's what I love.
Awesome. When do you think you'll be doing your next standout?
Oh, next Saturday. I'm committed for the next 3 Saturdays, 9:30 to 12 o'clock. I am committed. That's what I'm doing. And Phil, my fiance, went with me too. And I love it. I love it.
Where is this location you're standing out on Saturdays if people want to join you?
So I stand out on Washington Street and Dedham Street. That's where I stood out today. People stand out at the town hall, and there's a place where they can sign up on Susan's website, for signups. Some of John Conley, he had some people there, and we got along great. We said hello, friendly, we're friendly. And it's just camaraderie. I mean, the camaraderie is unbelievable. And people driving by and the thumbs up and even the beeps and, like people would roll the window down and say something. And I go, vote for Susan Harrington. And, they come back, that's what I intend to do.
Oh,
So-
awesome. Love it.
Yes.
Yeah, I may have to. I have this dog sit that's been going on forever. But once it's over,
Yes.
I think in like another week or so. Actually, no, I still have that other one.
Yeah.
But maybe, you know what? April 1st, I have this one customer that I've been walking their dog around 24/7 because she broke her leg. And she's hoping by April 1st, she's going to be able to walk the dog again. So
Oh,
maybe that last couple days, maybe that
Yeah.
last Saturday, I can somehow make it down there. I'm
Yep.
hoping.
I'm standing out every Saturday up until the election, and I took off election day. I took a vacation day on election day, and I'm going to shout it from the rooftops: "Get to the polls, vote for
Yeah.
Susan Harrington."
Let's plan to do something if we can, like, right before the election too. Like
Absolutely.
we're a month out basically.
Yes.
It's basically a month from today. Today is March 8th. We're looking at April 8th, 1 month from today. So I think the big thing for everybody is try to get the word out as much as possible, share it, follow the pages, just
Right.
let everyone know. And I want to thank Rita. You have any final thoughts tonight that you want to share before we let you go?
Just if people want to help and they're somewhere else, a sign, support Canton, vote April 8th. And people are going to start asking questions. What's that all about? What's that all about? And then people will talk and we'll get people to the polls. My final thoughts are, listen, I miss everybody. And I'm happy to be doing something that is going to help us in the future. And I haven't gone anywhere, guys. I just have been taking care of me. And, I support justice. I support truth. And it's appalling what's going on in our court. It's appalling. I would never believe it if I wasn't seeing it. But I do believe in the justice system, and I do believe that justice will prevail. And we ain't got no quit. We just have to rest sometimes, step back sometimes, and then get back out there. So thank you, everybody. We appreciate it. I appreciate it so much.
Congratulations, Rita, for everything you've been doing over the last couple of years here, for the award that we gave you, for the love that you're getting tonight. And congrats for being back out on the beat today, doing the standouts. That's where I could tell you were amped about that today. So
Oh, yes.
congrats.
Yes. And thank you, Mike, for everything that you have done for us, because if it wasn't for you and your coverage of the select board meetings, we wouldn't have the momentum that we have, the awareness that we have to make things right in this town. So I love you to pieces. So thank you so much.
Thank you. It's mutual. I'm so glad to have you here tonight, Rita. Best of luck in this campaign, and we'll be watching. We'll be supporting it. And again, thank you for being here tonight.
Thank you, everybody. Good night. Love you. Bye-bye.
That is Rita Lombardi. She's amazing. It's good to have Rita back, man. That was fun. And I'm kind of tired. I just like, I'm glad that happened tonight. Go Rita. We gotta make sure we elect Susan Harrington. Susan Harrington needs to get elected. If we miss this is going to be such a lost opportunity. This is the right person to defeat John Conley. We really got to make sure. Please, like I said, pinned in the chat right now. Go right up on that chat. Make sure you follow Susan Harrington. It's there. Her Facebook page. Find her Instagram, Susan Harrington. And she's got a website, susan4canton.com. Make sure you check that out. You can also donate if you want to. I'm pretty sure there's a registration if you want updates on their emails. She's got a survey. If you're a Canton resident, definitely fill out that survey. We're up to 260. Look at this. I love this. We start out when we started the show, we were at 225 followers on her Facebook page. We're now at 260. She got 82 links on the video that she put out. We want to get that to 100 today. Let's just keep liking everything about it. Sarah has also put it up. Sarah and Shock and Horror. I want to thank our moderators. Jenna always here for a minute. While she's working. I want to thank Stephanie. Sarah and Shock and Horror has been here all night posting the links. MJ has also been here. Thank you so much to our moderators. Scott McGinnis, another one. He's been posting some good stuff tonight as well. Thank you to our mod team. We have the best mod team around. I wanted to post this up because this is to kind of follow up on our show yesterday about Betterow not being allowed to represent Karen Reed. I mentioned something that I felt like it was ridiculous that Judge Bev would think that she knew better what was better for Karen Reed than Karen Reed. And I saw some of the attorneys agreed. I know Rich Vestine posted very similar thoughts. And then Aiden Carney posted this today. He said, Karen Reed and I both signed affidavits saying we don't object as our interests will never be in conflict. So neither one of them object to Mr. Betterow. Obviously, they hired him. Both of them wanted to use Attorney Betterow, but Judge Canoni thought she knew better. And they both let Judge Canoni note it with signed affidavits. They actually signed their paperwork, unlike some of these police officers and prosecutors who often don't sign what they submit, it seems like. They actually had signed affidavits saying, this is what we choose. We want Attorney Betterow. I'm still really pissed off about that. I don't think I'm going to get over it. You should have Betterow. She wants Betterow. He is a phenomenal attorney. He should be allowed to represent her. I definitely want to mention that tonight. I saw that post. I wanted to make sure everyone saw that from Aiden Carney. Tomorrow night, apparently, I want to thank Luna's mom, who just sent a super chat. Says, miss you, Rita. Glad to hear your voice again. Thank you, Luna's mom, 24. Good to hear Rita tonight. Tomorrow night, we have attorney Nan Gallagher, also known as Super Nan, also known as @LaFerio on Twitter. She's going to be here tomorrow night. We're going to talk all about the motion to dismiss Judge Beverly Canoni's, her latest gag order, not allowing Betterow. We've got a lot to talk about with attorney Nan Gallagher tomorrow night about Karen Reed, the retrial, the motions that have been filed, the rulings that have been made, the latest court hearings. We're also have some great shows upcoming this week. Monday. So Sunday night, attorney Nan Gallagher. Monday night, I have another new attorney to be announced. Wait to see that one at 6 p.m. Young guy. I might give you a hint if you already know. On Thursday night, we have attorney Andrea Burkhart. It's going to be a one-on-one interview. I'm really looking forward to this. She is one of the biggest YouTubers, law tubers, whatever you want to call it. She's an attorney that covers Karen Reed in other cases. She's got a phenomenal following. She's great. I can't wait to have her back on the show. This is going to be the first time we have a one-on-one interview. I'm really looking forward to that one. Thursday night. And on Friday night, I have something special for you as well, another special guest. So we've got amazing shows. Usually I only book 1 or 2 shows at a time, but I've decided I need to take it up a notch. I need to really make sure that we're bringing the best guests that we can and booking as much as possible right now because we're getting into it. We got to make sure that Karen Reed is found innocent, not guilty. And I want to do everything I can for that. So we'll be doing more fundraisers. I just got some new stickers. Let me put those on the screen. Can I put the, what do I got to remove? Hold on one second. Here we go. They're smaller this time. I ordered smaller ones. I didn't realize they were so small actually, but I think they're perfect. They're perfect for iPhones or even computers. And I got some new ones that we're going to, like I said, we're going to do it as a fundraiser for Karen Reed. We got some new 3M stickers. I don't know if you can see those in focus. They're small. See how small they are? And then we got some ones that are a little bit bigger. They're still pretty small. More 3Ms. So I got some new stickers in. We're going to do some fundraisers probably tomorrow night. I also have a Young Jelly sticker that's coming in right now. Hasn't been delivered yet, but I expect that either Monday or Tuesday. So if you donated before and you didn't get one of the 3M stickers that we had before that we sold out, we basically gave them all away, ran out of them on the Free Karen Reed fundraiser. Definitely email me back. I'll send you some of the new ones. But we're going to do a new round for anyone that wants to kick into Free Karen Reed for some of these 3M stickers. We've got a whole bunch of them I ordered. I'm looking forward to that this week as well. I want to thank everyone who's following, subscribing, supporting our channel. We're growing again immensely. We'll see you again tomorrow night, Sunday night, 6 p.m. with attorney Nan Gallagher. I'll see you then. Have a great night, everyone.